Zillow dissolving the iBuyer division, laying off 25% of their workforce. Now what? Okay, first and foremost, it is my hope and prayer that all of the employees at Zillow that are being laid off, that they are quickly hired elsewhere and in turn are getting paid more than what they were making at Zillow. So that's my prayer for all of those people being laid off. Here's some information in that when all of the data that was coming out the other day in the announcement, it was said that Zillow owned 7,000 properties in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And out of those properties, 93% they owned that those properties were underwater. That is shocking. The fear is that Zillow would just dump these properties on the market and sell them. The good news is they're not doing that. They're actually going to be selling those properties to big investors who are going to keep the properties and rent them out. So if you live in the Phoenix, Arizona area and you're a tenant, you may in fact see rental rates get some pressure and possibly go down because you as a consumer, as a tenant, are going to have so many more choices. And when there's an oversupply and low demand, what happens to pricing? It goes down. So that could be a benefit for you. If you're an investor who lives in that area and has a rental property, you don't like hearing this. The way you can work around that is work with your tenant, make some adjustments on the rent rate and keep them. It'll be cheaper for you in the long run if you do that. Okay, so on average, I thought these numbers were interesting. On average, when Zillow bought a fixer-upper, they paid $322,000. When they sold the property, they made $19,000. That was it. I can tell you, as an agent working with flip investors for over 10 years, if I brought them a proposal of a fixer-upper and they were only going to make $19,000 after everything was said and done, they would be like, no, thank you, Robin. Go find me something else. Okay, I'd go find you something else. So they were working on very thin margins. Now, what is really scary is that they are having to write off over $500 million in losses, which is, you literally scratch your head about that, is that if you guys are using your algorithm to determine current property value and then using that to forecast what the value would be of that purchase of that home after it's fixed up, and that is so off that you have to write off over $500 million, that is scary. It makes me wonder, was anybody checking this stuff? The stock of Zillow has taken a hit. I think it will continue to experience some pressure. Last week it was reported selling, over $100 a share. I just looked. Today it's hovering between $65 to $68 a share. As they unpack all of this in dissolving this division, there's going to be more information coming out which could affect value. I think the bigger challenge that Zillow has is, how is the consumer going to respond to all of this? If Zillow had challenges in determining purchase price versus sales price, and then as a company they're using that same model to determine Zestimates for consumers, can the consumer trust that number? And do they want to trust it? We'll see. So I do recommend that you reach out to your local real estate professional to help you determine real estate value. They have a pulse of the market. They can tell you what's hot, what's not, and the real estate market can shift on a dime. in a day, a week. So you really got to be working with someone who's in tune to that. And if you don't have anybody, I'm available for adoption. Okay? So I'm Robin Young with Compass, and as always, make it a powerful day. And as new information comes out about this, I'll be sharing it with you. Take care.